I'm so tired. Okay, so days before Gamescom 2026, we got news nobody wanted. Nick Baker, also known as Shapeshell Nick, co-founder of Xbox Era, but now called Day One, was replying to a fan speculation about Xbox big mystery Gamescom announcement, and someone brought up Killer Instinct. His response was 5 words. Not KI, that was canceled. That's it. That's the tweet. I want to talk about why this rumor, because that's all it is right now, it's just a rumor, it still sucks. And along the way, I want to talk through just how much history is riding on this franchise, because I don't think people realize how deep this goes. So let me back up, because to understand why this sucks, you need the context. For the last few weeks, there's been a real buzz building around Xbox's Gamescom plans. Insider Nate the Hate first flagged it, saying Microsoft had something big saved for Gamescom this year instead of their usual June showcase. Then Jez Corden, senior editor at Windows Central, backed it up, though he was careful to say he was still verifying details. The specifics were juicy enough to get people's imaginations running. A sequel to an existing Xbox IP, but built by an external third-party studio, not one of Xbox's own internal teams. Nate even said the studio itself was what had him more excited than the actual game. Naturally, the internet did what the internet does. People started throwing out names. Rise, Son of Rome, Lost Odyssey, Blue Dragon, and of course, Killer Instinct came up. For a lot of us, that last one was the dream scenario. That one felt almost too good to hope for. And then Nick shut it down. Not the mystery Gamescom game itself, we still don't know what that title is, but specifically Killer Instinct. According to him, a new Killer Instinct was in development and it was canceled. I want to be upfront, this is one insider's claim, not an official statement from Xbox. Nothing has been confirmed by Microsoft, but Nick's track record on Xbox news is exactly why this stings, because he's the same guy who told us years ago that a new Killer Instinct was actively in development in the first place. Before I get into how I fell in love with the series, I want to back up even further, because Killer Instinct's history is honestly wild, and it's a big part of why this rumor cuts so deep for a lot of fans and people who just overall love the series. So the original Killer Instinct dropped in arcades in 1994, made by Rare, yes, same Rare behind GoldenEye Donkey Kong Country. It got ported to the Super Nintendo and Game Boy in 1995. And here's the fun detail. If you bought the SNES back then, you got a free bonus disc of the soundtrack called Killer Cuts. That soundtrack, composed by Robin Beanland and Graham Nogate, is still considered one of the best in gaming history by a lot of people. Killer Instinct 2 followed in arcades in 1996, later ported to N64 as Killer Instinct Gold. And here's the piece of trivia most people don't know. A Super Nintendo version of KI2 was actually completed, fully finished, and it was never released. It just sits in the vault. Then the series went quiet for almost 18 years. That silence is part of why the 2013 reboot felt like such a lightning bolt. It was revealed as a surprise at Microsoft's E3 press conference that year, developed by Double Helix Games, and it launched alongside Xbox One as a free-to-play title on November 22, 2013. Now, this is where it gets personal. I'll be honest. I wasn't a Killer Instinct kid in the 90s. I knew of it, didn't really care for it. I was more of a Capcom SNK person back then. But the 2013 reboot, that game turned me into a fiend. In fact, it's the #1 reason why I got an Xbox Day One. And I still remember it to this day. Before the console even launched, a friend invited me to a pre-release event that was being held in Dallas. I was still on the fence about buying an Xbox. I was going to wait for it. When we got to the event, I was just walking around and I saw they had a Killer Instinct demo station set up. Figured why not? When it was my turn, they handed me a headset. I picked up the controller, and the second I hit that character select screen, it was over for me. I was done. The music, the character design, the stage art, the sound design, the lighting, the particle effects, I loved everything about it. It's crazy. I still remember I went home that night and I could not stop thinking about it. I asked my friend if the demo would be back the next night. He said yes. We went right back for more. I was going crazy for this game before I even bought the console. And it didn't stop there. That game gave me a real appreciation about how much work goes into fighting games. The animation, the balance, the netcode, all of it. Even as a long-time fighting game fan, Killer Instinct It's the first fighting game I ever truly dedicated myself to. I bought every physical release, I bought all the extra DLC, I entered in multiple tournaments. To this day, it is my #1 fighting game of all time. So here's the thing. My love for this game isn't just nostalgia talking. This reboot legitimately set the bar in ways the industry still hasn't caught up to. Let me start off with the music. Mick Gordon, yes, the same Mick Gordon who went on to score Doom and Wolfenstein, wrote the score for the first 2 seasons, and is still regarded by a lot of critics and fans as one of the best fighting game soundtracks of all time. And I still remember I used to enjoy watching his little mini docs where he would talk about some of his creative processes and some of the stuff he will go out and do to compose some of the music for the game. I even remember clearly, this guy went out and he tracked down a Kangling, like a bone instrument, just to get the right creepy tone for Spinal's theme music. That's the level of care that went into the game. The Season 1 soundtrack won a Gang Award for Best Vocal Song. That's how good it was. And then the gameplay structure. Killer Instinct popularized a rolling season-based character release model, new fighters dropping over time instead of all at once. If that seems familiar, it's because half the fighting games and live service titles since then has copied that formula. Its netcode was, and by a lot of accounts still is, some of the best rollback implementation in the fighting game genre, more than a decade later. The roster grew to 29 characters by the time support wrapped, split across Double Helix Season 1 and then Iron Galaxy taking over for Season 2 and 3 after Double Helix got acquired by Amazon. And in 2023 at EVO, the biggest fighting game tournament in the world, Iron Galaxy came back on stage to announce a free 10th anniversary update, complete with 4K support and matchmaking improvements, just to keep the game alive for a new console generation. This is not a franchise that's been neglected because it doesn't deserve attention. It's been neglected despite clearly deserving it. And honestly, this is what makes this new rumor so exhausting. We've been on this roller coaster before, multiple times. Let's look back at 2021. Nick Baker, the same guy who went on record saying, quote, "What I've been told is that yes, Killer Instinct is back, it's just not coming back. It's in active development at the moment." He didn't know who the developer was, but he was confident it wasn't Iron Galaxy. And sure enough, Iron Galaxy's developer Adam Hart, also known as Keats, publicly confirmed that they weren't working on it. Around the same time, Xbox head Phil Spencer was asked about Killer Instinct directly on the Drop Frames podcast. He didn't deny interest. He said, quote, "It's about finding the right team and the right opportunity, but it's not due to any kind of lack of desire on our part." And there were some strange moments too. Microsoft's own esports platform, StartGG, formerly SmashGG, had run a Killer Instinct tournament that started generating buzz about a possible sequel. According to the organizer, Microsoft was not happy about that buzz at all, and reportedly asked them to never run a major Killer Instinct competition again. Please think about that for a second. The company shut down a grassroots hype for their own game because they weren't ready to capitalize on it. Fast forward to early 2025, and the rumors flared up again, this time pointing at Bandai Namco as a possible developer. That's notable because it's a Japanese studio, which lines up with the rumors that's been floating around about this current canceled project too. Again, nothing was ever officially confirmed. Then in June 2025 at the Xbox Game Showcase, we got Invisible Versus, a 3 vs 3 tank fighter from Skybound, based on the Invincible comics and show. Some fans had actually hoped that whichever team made that game might eventually take a swing at a Killer Instinct. Instead, we got Invincible and the KI dream went quiet again. Which brings us to now, August 2026, Gamescom days away, and Nick telling us the door's closed. So when you add all that up, 2021's false start, the tournament getting shut down, the Bandai Namco rumors, Invisible versus Near Miss, and now this. It's hard not to feel like Xbox just doesn't know what to do with this IP. And Killer Instinct isn't the only case. Double Helix, the original 2013 studio, got acquired right out of the gate and never came back to the franchise. Look at how Perfect Dark's revival has been handled over at the Initiative. There's a pattern here of Xbox picking up a beloved legacy IP and then letting it drift without a clear plan. At some point you have to ask, does Xbox actually understand what they have in Killer Instinct? because if they don't want to commit the resources and the respect the franchise has earned, maybe it's time to let someone else, someone who actually wants it, take a swing. One insider's comment in a reply on Twitter with zero context of what cancel actually means. Does that mean cancel outright? Canceled and being reworked under a different team? Canceled because someone else is replacing it? We don't know. And Gamescom hasn't even happened yet. Whatever Xbox's real mystery announcement is, we'll find out in the next few days. Even then, I'm still holding on to a sliver of hope. Given everything this franchise has already survived, almost a decade of silence, multiple false starts, a canceled tournament, drought rumors, maybe this is just one more bump before we actually get there. But if this is really it, if Killer Instinct really is done for good this time, I just want Xbox to know, some of us were paying attention this entire time. This game deserves attention, this game matters. And that's where I'm at with this. Were you a Killer Instinct player back in the arcade days, or were you like me and started playing Killer Instinct back in 2013? And what do you think Xbox's actual Gamescom reveal is going to be? And also, if you like this video, please remember to like and subscribe. I'll be making more videos in the future, so please follow for more news. And also be sure to follow me on my socials, Instagram and Twitter. With that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.